So what's up, everybody? This is Da'zjon, owner of Tinae's Wealth Management and Credit Consulting, and today's topic is about 5 ways to quickly increase cash flow. But before we dive into that, I'd like to ask if you guys could definitely check out my latest movement, Budgeting and Money Management for Kids, which is a children's book series that I've written and developed in order to give children the education required to thrive throughout everyday life. And still, I have a variety of books on Amazon as well, The Essentials of Good Credit, The Principles of Stock Market Investing, as well as Life Finances and Opportunity. They each have cover updates, so you can check that out on Amazon as well. And I would really appreciate it if you guys could hit that like button as well as that subscribe as we get into today's topic. So the number one thing that I think everyone should do when they want to get in a position to increase their monthly cash flow is to downsize the debt and to reduce reoccurring expenses. Now, let me elaborate on what I mean by that. The first thing I have on my list, car notes. When you get a car note, make sure that it's affordable and that it's something that you can pay. And I always bring it back to my own personal car example. I have a Nissan Versa and I pay $235 a month back when I was financing my car. Now, for a lot of people that was my age when I was 20, 21 years old, you know, they're getting $350, $400, $500 car payments. Now, I'm not the one to say, you know, you can't get something. If that's what you want, then get it. But I'm just here to say that extra money that's building up over time, that could be going towards something that can help you out financially. So for me, that $235, I could scrape up $235 no matter what my financial situation is. So I keep my car note as low as possible, and I put myself in a position to maximize on my money, or I just simply pay off the car, which I have done. Now, another thing about downsizing on your debt, credit cards. Stay away from credit cards. These are 18 to 20% plus interest rates. So somebody with a $5,000 balance or $3,000 or $2,000, though, that interest is just something that you don't want to play with. And I know a number of people that say things like, man, you know, every time I make my payment, it doesn't seem like it's decreasing my balance. And that's just simply because the interest is so high with that balance that every time you make a payment, it eats it up. So now you have to put more down on that card in order to get yourself out of debt. And if not, you'll catch yourself accruing debt and more debt. And this is why I tell people, stay under the 30% mark. If not, pay the whole card off. Don't even try to sit on the 30% because it's a cash flow eater every single month. So that extra $10, $15, $20, that adds up over a course of a year or even more, depending on how long you've had that account open. Now, car insurance is really something that I think is a really important topic for a lot of us. So there are people that ask me, like, you know, what's the best ways to go about car insurance? How can I decrease my monthly rate? And I tell people there are a few things that you can do, believe it or not. And this all lies into research. Now, for me, I'm shopping between Geico, Progressive, State Farm, whoever I need to go up against to find out who can give me the best rate. And I call these companies, hey, can you beat this rate? Yes, no, maybe, whatever they tell me, I'll move to the next person. One thing I tell people, especially when using these online platforms and portals, don't get caught up trying to talk to these agents and have them put you in something that works best for you. Adjust it the way that you feel is best for yourself. So for me, I live in Florida. They were trying to give me like a $170 a month policy. Yeah, okay. Because when I was coming from North Carolina, I can see the increase from where I was paying prior to now. I'm not paying $170. So I actually went online. You know, they'll ask you to put your social or don't put in your social. I tell people 2 ways. Do it without your social and then try it with your social. See which one comes back better. Make sure delete your cookies too, because you don't want them to see that you've been on there prior. So make sure you're deleting your cache cookies and things of that nature before you do it again. That way you can ensure yourself the best rate. I've done it multiple times. The numbers always come up different, I promise. Now, last thing I want to say about downsizing your debt, if there's anything that you can do to protect your cash in terms of what you can get rid of, make that sacrifice. Get rid of those extra reoccurring expenses because that's going to eat at your cash flow. Imagine paying $400 a month for a car versus someone with $200. Over a course of a year, it adds up. So just look at it that way. So cut your expenses. Number two, boost your income. And this is not me saying go out and go punch in more hours on the clock. That's not what boost your income is. When I mean by boost your income, I mean putting yourself in a position to where you can maximize your money for the least time as possible. So when you go to your job, if you're making 15, 20 an hour now, how can you get to 25 or 30? Is it a promotion? Are you going to go seek a new job? How do you intend to increase your income? There's only so much you can do by increasing your hours at work, because let's face it, whether I'm working 40 hours a week at Wells Fargo, what's 50 or 60 going to do? Put me in a new tax bracket? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a permanent change in income. I'm looking to get from point A to point B. If you need to put that job in a position to say, hey, I found another job, it's a better opportunity for me, put yourself in that position. Go apply for new jobs. Go look or seek that promotion. But don't get in the habit of staying where you're at, because remember, as Dave Ramsey said, your wealth building tool, the number one thing, guess what it's going to be? Your income. So boost your income. Focus on things that matter and get yourself out of the situation that you're in. So do you have a business? Is there business income coming in? Is there something that you can start on the side? Look for ways to hustle. This is where real entrepreneurs, real hustlers, and real people come together when they want to maximize their cash flow. So put yourself in that entrepreneurial mindset and find a way to build that cash flow. It doesn't always have to be business, but you got to have a business mentality. So just take it like that. Number three, as I always say, retain money. What's the use of downsizing your expenses and boosting your income if you're not going to retain the money? Now, think about people that you see in the NBA or people that you see that are on a big professional level of sports. You hear about how Sean Kemp went broke. You hear about the Allen Iverson story about how he went broke after getting multi-millions. That's because a lot of people didn't have money retention ideas or plans set in stone. So as I tell everybody, make sure you have something set in stone so that when it is time for you to retain your money, you have that plan. So for me, it may not seem like something that other people do, but when I make big moves in options, stock, or cryptocurrency, whatever the move may be, I got me a plan. I move that money over into a high yield cash account where I can get dividends every month. So I'm not focused on putting myself in a position to lose that money. I'm moving that money off to an offset account, and I'm looking to build that money over time. I'm not even going to touch it, because the moment I put it in position to lose it, I'm not going to have it. I don't want to spend it. I want to keep it somewhere where I know I have access to it and that it's still doing something for me. So put that money off to the side and retain it. And if you don't have a course of action then on what you want to do with it, figure it out, and then you can go about that idea. But don't go about spending it or putting yourself in a position to where you will, because, again, it won't be there later. Now, this takes me to the fourth idea that I really wanted to talk about. Cut up your credit cards. Don't apply for loans. Don't buy a car if you don't have to already, or if it's paid off. Stop trying to convince yourself to make more bad decisions. Now, when I say cut up your credit cards, some people say, oh, well, I really need this credit card. No, you don't. And let me tell you why. You were living before you had a credit card. The credit card is just fake money. It's nothing. It's not even yours. So if you wasn't using it before, why can't you go back to that system? Now, if you're already caught up in the debt, cut it up. Don't use it again, because what's repetitively using it going to do for you other than put you in more debt? So get rid of the credit cards, cut them all up. Don't put yourself in position to keep having interest kill you, because let's face it, the average American has over $3,500 in credit card debt. So if you factor in 20% of that, that's still a number that's not likely that you want to be paying over a course of year in just interest. Like, it's just not something that a lot of people want to do. And I fix credit. I've seen a number of credit reports. I work for a bank. I've seen all of these realistic numbers. Now, loans, cars, stop trying to convince yourself that it's the right opportunity for you. People will go out of their way of saying, oh, well, my situation was different, or I really needed this. If that car requires you to get a super bad interest rate, it's not worth getting. If you're catching yourself, you want a 5% interest rate, but you're getting offered a 15 to 20%, that's insane. I've heard many people get offers like that, and they feel like these dealers are giving them great deals, and that's just not what it is. And I just want people to understand that you don't want to lock yourself into another debt over a long period of time, because what is that going to do for your cash flow other than kill it? I paid off my car. I'm not getting another car. My credit card's paid off. I'm not getting to swipe my credit card again, because why do I need to have my cash flow reduced when I'm on a mission and have a goal to get my cash flow to steady come up? You can't build cash flow with reoccurring expenses on the rise. You have to get them to minimize. And it's like I said with the insurance. You could pay up front, or you can find a way to get cheaper insurance. Do that, because this is what it's going to do to the reoccurring expenses. You can't put yourself in a position to come back up. So make it easy for yourself. Now, and this is one last thing I want to say for people for this number specifically. Stop trying to entice people to make that you're making the right decision. There are some people that'll contact me. Hey, Da'zjon, what do you think about this? I'll say, that's a very bad idea. And they'll say, oh, well, no, because, well, no, don't consult if you knew I was going to say that, because you're trying to convince yourself to make a bad decision. If you're trying to convince yourself to make bad decisions, you're going to get one. And I can promise you, I've seen it happen so many times. Now, the fifth and the very last thing, invest your money. This is going to be a true way to where you can boost your cash flow. So yeah, I may have said I retain my money in high yield savings accounts, but how else do you plan to get a return out of your money? Me, I invest in stocks, bonds, I have treasuries, I have a number of different assets that I look to put my money in. Some people say things like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm going to lose money, or, oh, that's not a good idea because of XYZ. As I always say, there are some investments that are risk-free. Now, I'm not saying invest 100% in risk-free investments, because it may not even be worth your time. But what I'm saying is there are things out there that you can do regardless of what your situation is. So if you're enticing yourself not to invest because of whatever it may be, ask yourself, is that truly what you want to get out of life? Because I've seen people hesitate until they've said, oh, well, I'm going to wait until I get this new job, or I'm going to wait until I get this done, or I'm going to wait until this. Look, that's everything an elderly person that works at a fast food restaurant would tell you. I've talked to many people, and they have told me, don't make the bad decisions that I've made. Go to work, get a 401k, or start a business, do yada, yada. I'm telling you, and they'll tell you themselves, it's not the best way to be. So always make sure you're putting yourself in a position to invest, and not just invest, but also save money, because again, it could be anybody. And that's just not something that that a person wants to go through, in their everyday life. So again, those were the 5 ways where you can increase your cash flow. And just to reiterate the key points to give you all some free game, man, just make sure you find somebody or some wealth mentors that you can learn from. Because for myself, I had high school teachers. I had a college professor that was pretty well rounded at a lot of these things. I've read books. I'm stuck on to Kevin O'Leary, Benjamin Graham, Warren Buffett. I read a lot of their books. So, if you really want to adapt and learn a lot of ways to how you can increase your cash flow, invest money better, try reading up on a lot of their work, because it's really interesting. You'll learn a lot of things, and I think it'll be beneficial for a lot of people. So I appreciate y'all for watching this video today, and I hope y'all have a blessed one.